Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for watching. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I made this Maleficent themed cake. I tried to pay homage to the classic Maleficent as well as the current Angelina Jolie Maleficent. Before we get into the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you enjoy it and subscribe to my channel for new videos every week. That being said, let's get started. So I already have my 6-inch base tier iced and covered in fondant, and if you need to see how to get to this point, I'm going to link those videos down below. I'm using my airbrush machine to create a green gradient on my cake. I went over it a couple times so it was darker at the bottom and lighter at the top. I have a 4-inch tier that's going to go on top, and I'm using purple for this, and instead of my airbrush machine, I'm going to hand paint with my fluffy brush, just stippling the color on there to create some texture, and again, wanting to get a darker color at the bottom that just lightens as I go up. Before I can add that tier on top of my green tier, I have to add some supports, so I'm just spacing out some bubble tea straws, marking off where they're flush with the cake, and then trimming them down to size. Now for the decorations, I have some 18 gauge wrapped floral wire. I am folding this piece in half just to give me a little more bulk, and I'm going to wrap this whole thing with some black floral tape. You can see I've curved it slightly, and I'm just going to add a couple kinks so it's not like a perfect semicircle. Using smaller pieces of thinner wire that I've twisted together, I'm going to start adding that to my main piece here, just twisting them really tightly at the base so they're not going to move around. And then I just finagled them into different positions. These are like the creepy, spooky vines that are everywhere, so you want them to be a little bit different and different lengths as well. Once I was finished with that, I started to wrap each individual piece, just working in sections. This definitely took me forever, but I was really happy with the end result. I think it looked super creepy. I made one more of these so that I could put them together and they were going to form a frame. I've rolled out some black fondant and I have my dragon template here. Everything is going to be linked below, and I'm cutting that out using my X-Acto knife. I marked out some of the details in the base, and then I'm going over that with my fondant tool, just deepening all those lines. I broke down my template into sections and used that to cut out all of the features of the dragon and just added them on there with some shortening. I grabbed some black color dust and a fine tip fluffy brush, and I'm going over the back of the mouth and under the tongue, anywhere where there'd be a very obvious shadow. With a fine tip paintbrush and some white food coloring, I'm going over all of those deeper lines I made just to bring out some of the features a bit more. Once she was all done, I just set her aside to firm up a bit and then added her to the front of my cake using some shortening. For the headpiece, I have a 4.5-inch half sphere of styrofoam. You could use cake pop mixture or Rice Krispies for this if you prefer. I just went this route, and I'm covering that in some black fondant. I smoothed that down with my hands as best I could and then cut off the excess with my X-Acto knife. I took some more black fondant and rolled that out into a long tapered shape, and then just looked at a picture of Angelina Jolie to try and shape the horns correctly. I pinched the center all the way up to create like a seam, and then used my fondant tool to just mark in a bunch of lines on either side. I attached the main part of the head to the top of my cake with a little bit of melted chocolate, and then I inserted 2 skewers into either side and slipped the horns on there when they were firm enough where they weren't wobbling around anymore. You can see I added a big piece of paper towel in the middle there just to help them keep their shape while they dried up completely. I'm adding a piece of flesh tone fondant to the front of her face, and then just starting to create the rest of the headband in pieces and adding the texture again with my fondant tool. I've arranged my vines on either side of my dragon, and I just held that in place by wrapping a smaller piece of wire with that floral tape, curving it into this U shape, and then securing the very base of each side by pushing that really snugly into the cake. I covered my board in some gray fondant, and truth be told, I really should have just done this before I added the dragon or the vines. It was a total pain in the butt. Be better than me. Add this first. Don't waste your time. Once it was on there, I trimmed away the excess, and then I used my stone impression mat just to give it more of a cohesive look. I added this egg shape of light green to my purple tier, and then using some different shades of green food coloring I've mixed with some white. I'm just modeling that on there, layering the color. I want it to look kind of swirly and different. And then with dark brown fondant, I'm just going to start building up the shape of her staff and using my fondant tools to blend everything together. I made sure just to re-highlight that green, and then I also took some brown food coloring and got that into all the nooks and crannies in the actual wood part of the staff. I made myself a template of a crow that again will be linked down below, and I cut that out of some black fondant and just arranged it so it looked like it was about to land on the staff. I took more of my green food coloring and my different fondant tools and just dotted on some different size circles on there, and with a fine tip paintbrush and some white food coloring, I marked in a couple little crosses for stars. To make the staff pop a little bit more, I added some gold luster dust just over top some of the green parts. And this was the final result, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for new videos every week, and I will see you in the next one.